The Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, the podcast that only talks about our league, the best league in the world. This week we didn't quite play like it, but anyways, we've got Vibe Check, Gus Gossip, BP's Complaining Corner. I've got two guests. There will be two episodes this week. This one I'm only going to talk about what happened last week in the round one. Later on this week, you'll get an episode where I get a playoff preview of the semifinals, the final four teams. We're going to get all four of them on, talk about their matchups individually. And so this one hopefully a lot shorter, and let's get into it. All right, vibe check. Zooming out, let's just take our league out of it. I know I only talk about our league, and it drives everyone nuts, the people that do watch that aren't in this league, which, by the way, thank you, and you're psychos. But zooming out, this is the time of the year where when you're out of playoffs, we're fucking done. We don't got to deal with this shit anymore. Our schedule opens up with the amount of podcasts we have to open up. We have to listen to a lot off of our brain. Delete the app. Delete it off your home screen at least. Maybe just check in on the group chat that's just talking about fantasy. But like when you're out of playoffs and you've been eliminated, that stress is fucking gone. At least for a little bit. You're several weeks away from missing it. Several weeks away from wanting to think about next year or what went wrong this year or bitch and moan and complain. That freedom is a little intoxicating. This is loser talk here. So for all the guys in here that are still playing and being like, these guys are fucking losers. Yeah, this is loser talk time. It is a nice little relief. And you can even say, like, who cares? You could, like, reintroduce yourself to your family again. Your family's like, oh, why don't you care about football on Sunday anymore? Like, why are you like, oh, okay, we could go on a walk? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to just be a good dad. I don't know. Maybe that's why. It is a little bit nice of a relief that you don't have to completely lock in or care about your friends. All the decisions you make aren't no longer scrutinized on a podcast that reaches 25 people a week. You're not like, you don't have to worry about making a Zach start of the week. You don't have to worry about, am I going to be called out on the pod? How did I piss off BP this week? It's kind of nice. You know, I think we're going to talk to the two losers later on this episode where, you know, Austin and Peeler are going to come on. I'm pretty sure that both of them are on the same page as far as fuck this shit, dude. I don't even care anymore. I'm gonna start golfing again. Like I'm reintroducing myself to society. I think they're going to be with me on that. I want to be like that myself, but I've got to see this thing through. I've got to talk. I've got playoff matchups now. Don't get it twisted. We are going to talk about some good football. There is a lot that still needs to happen. We have 3 remaining games that need to happen to decide who is our fantasy champion. And we are going to talk about that on Gossip. All right, Gossip time. Honestly, not a whole lot happened in this week. It wasn't a whole lot of drama. There was 2 games where we had 2 good teams that were playing good play good teams that were playing bad. And, you know, if you know anything about sports, you got to be hot playing. You got to be hot at the right time of the year. And for the 2 guys that lost, Peeler and Austin, you just simply were not hot at the right time. Your team peaked at several other instances during the year, at several other times during the year. And Jared was playing his best football at the right time. And Tyler, he's gone on a 6-game win streak at the end of this year. He is the definition of playing hot at the right time. And that's all it really comes down to is These two matchups were as boring as they come. They were essentially two Monday Night Football games that we seen last night, where it was never really in contention. The second Peelers game started was Thursday night. He had his quarterback decision. He goes with Brock Purdy. He puts up 3 points. Don't worry, we'll talk about that later. But that kept that game pretty much out of reach the whole time. There was a few times where the score got close, but projections were way different, meaning, Jared pretty much had dogs later on. He had a lot of guys going Sunday afternoon, and that really kept things out of play. He had Gibbs going, Saquon Barkley, all later on, and there was no chance Peeler really had during this. Flipping over to the other game, Austin had a fighter's chance going into Monday night. He needed a lot to happen, but again, the game was pretty much wrapped up. There wasn't a whole lot of back and forth, and not once did Austin lead that football game. Just two teams going in different directions. Tyler put up 130 points. Jared put up 130 points, but their opponents could not come up with anything to really match up with them. It just wasn't exactly what we consider fun. And this episode, why I wanted to keep it short, is because I just wanted to bring these guys on. I wanted to give them a little bit of shine for what they have accomplished this year. Let them rant. Let them go through the grieving process. The first step of the grieving process is you have to accept that it's over. So Austin, Peeler, they will be coming on and just kissing goodbye to this fucking fantasy season. So as I just said, and not to discredit anything that Jared and Tyler did, they both put up solid games, did what they needed to do to advance the playoffs. They will now face off in the next round, in the Final Four. And that is Zach and Braden, who are both sitting there, just came off of a bye. Both teams went the fuck off in the bye week, by the way. Braden's scored like 400 points in the last 2 weeks. He is on a fucking heater. Just said it. Teams playing hot at the right time. Braden is one of those teams. He is as hot as they come. Zach, this one was more of a slump buster. Okay, Zach's team went off too. He had Amon-Ra and Malik Neighbors and Mike Evans. So that's a bit of a slump buster, but we did talk about it on last episode where we were like, it'd hate to like break out of it now while you're on a bye because it's a little wasteful. However, that might be a good thing for Zach to get the slump buster out of the way. Bottom line, I will say the committee got these Final Four right. The Final Four teams, I think you can make no argument that any other team in our league deserves to be there. Okay? They're all playing as hot as they possibly can right now. They're playing their best football at the right time of the year. Playoffs usually get figured out by winning and good gameplay, and that's what we have. And it's the most obvious statement, but winning takes care of everything. Good stats put up everything, explain everything, and winning takes care of everything. The Chiefs are the only reason this whole thing doesn't make sense because they are playing awful football. They're playing the definition of awful football, yet they're winning. And I don't know what I'm saying. I had this big old thing typed out where I was trying to relate to, okay, we got it right. Playoffs, winning, and good gameplay usually solves all questions unless you're the Chiefs. The Chiefs win. So that's the only thing. The Chiefs win. I'm trying to make a point that the Chiefs fucking stink. And they keep getting away with it. And fantasy, you don't get away with playing bad football. You have to produce. You have to score points. You have to play good football. You have to have guys playing good football. The Chiefs don't do any of that. The Chiefs have no stats. They don't play good football. They're like the number 7 defense, so it's not like they're the best defense. They just figure it out and win games, and that's it. And I don't know if there's a version of that in fantasy football. We've never seen it. You have to produce. You have to play on the football field. I get it. Real football playoffs are a lot different than fantasy playoffs. But in this scenario, I am making the argument that playing good football is more important than playing winning football. Yeah. Playing good football. Just because it's winning football doesn't mean that it's enjoyable football. Yeah. Put that on a shirt. All right, welcome on, Austin. Skip the chit chat. Kyler Murray struggles to close out the year for you. Last 4 weeks, he had 10 points, 15 points, 17 points, and this week, when it mattered the most, he gave you 10. He was a must start. I seen all the same articles you did. He had high projections. This guy was supposed to get it done. And just so you can just sound off on the two guys, King Henry also struggled. Hasn't been incredible as of late. He was the running back number 3. He absolutely shoves it up your pooper with a terrible performance. I said it last week. You go as Kyler and King Henry goes, and they didn't go. How was your week, man?
Speechless. Fuck it. Everyone's dead to me. Everyone. No one's gonna be on my team next year. Fuck all those guys. I've been so loyal to fucking dumbass Derrick Henry. Fucking shaves his head before fantasy playoffs. Like, what? What are we doing? Like, I've had you on my team 8 straight years, and you fucking fail me every playoff. You have a RB2 or whatever the fuck it was. Where the fuck you go?
Every time. And you thought it would be different. He's on a different team. You thought it would be different, and he does this every single time. And there is just, it just makes no sense for King Henry that there are these games. He did this shit with the Titans where he just goes completely just out of the gameplay, like completely taken away. And if you're talking fucking legacy for guys, King Henry's never had the legacy of doing anything good in fantasy playoffs for fucking any team.
No,
because otherwise you'd have championships.
I would have won last year.
You would have won the last 7 years if he was a good fantasy running back. It's every single year. It's the same thing with King Henry in the playoffs.
He has the great first 7 weeks, and you're like, fuck, I love this guy.
Yeah, he's the best. Why are we talk about King Henry enough? And he's still a great running back. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's one of the last great running backs we'll ever see. I don't know. It just
what I don't get, sure they won, but the game plan or the game set him up to go the fuck off.
Yeah.
His over-under was 102 yards. So
yeah, it was.
I fucking hammered that. 12 yards. And I don't even want to get started on Kyler Murray.
He probably doesn't deserve your hate. Sooner guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Sooner guy. Always rooted for him. I feel like he's been a pretty decent fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
I know he has his stretches where he sucks, but
yeah. And
I don't fucking know.
It seems to be the same, and you know this. You're fucking probably tired of hearing it. And I'm sorry. Final question I got for you. This happens every year, and this starting to become a thing. It's a narrative that's been painted on you unfairly because you play well every single year. You're never in the bottom. You're never a shitty guy, right? You did win your first playoff game last year. Usually it's kind of like one and done.
I won 2 last year, bitch.
You won 2?
Yeah.
Okay, because you got to the championship. All right. My bad. Maybe that's what I meant because you usually go one and done. But either way, what do we got to do to get you over the hump? What is it going to take for Austin Christiansen, AC? What is it going to take for you to become a champion?
Oh, good question. Might have to get back.
I don't know. I
It's-
don't know what it is. I fucking hate
like
this
you guys,
sport.
you guys talked about it last week. Like I drafted differently this week or this year to
Mhm.
where I went and got guys that I thought were going to go off, and usually I finish the draft first every year just because I get the mediocre guys that give me myself some depth. But I went and got a starting lineup, and once again, a mediocre team. I mean, I think I got up to like third place this year, but no one was ever scared of me.
Yeah. Did you feel kind of mediocre? Like,
Yeah, I
just
didn't
kind
have
of
any
squeaking
confidence
through?
this week. Yeah,
I mean, I said it earlier that I just kind of pegged you as you're just playing not the best at the right time of the year.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of peaked mid-season where it's like, okay, he's kind of coming on a little bit. His team's forming out because you had a kind of a bit of a rough start.
yeah.
It's just you weren't playing well at the exact right time. So we'll see what you do next year. I still see you taking the same guys, maybe going back to
I'm not doing it.
run
I'm
it back
not
with
doing it.
Lamar. Go back to
Yeah,
Lamar.
I can go back that way. These guys are fucking done.
So who are you rooting for the rest of the way? We've got, obviously the Jared, Zach, you've got Braden, and are you looking for a first timer to get in the mix
I'm
here?
definitely rooting for Braden.
Okay. You're
Yeah.
going against Table Crew, huh? Oh man, you walked right again.
Fucking. Tyler's not even gonna be watching. He's not even gonna know what's gonna happen.
Okay. Neither will Jared.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
root for the guys that are gonna be hanging out and.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going
Yeah.
Braden. Austin's team
Yeah.
Braden. All right,
for
man.
Braden.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on. That was fun.
No, it wasn't.
I wanted this episode to be about like, hey, last time we're talking about him, your last opportunity to show face this year. You deserve a little bit of credit. You did make the playoffs. It's a big fucking deal in this league, and you did it. You just fell a little short this year.
Yeah.
Hell of a year, hell of a season, bud. Thanks for coming on.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Fuck Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. That was another one. That one felt like pouring. I seen him in your flex. I was rolling down. I was like, ooh, geez. Thanks, man.
See it.
Fucking brain busters.
All right, Peeler. Thanks for coming on. You're a fucking miserable person to try to get on a fucking 5 minutes of your time. Thank God. You've blessed me. Fucking 5 minutes. Give me a call. It's okay. Hey, I got you. I've got you. It's
I'm here now. Fuck.
We do this every time, but though, whatever. Peeler, I just wanted to come on and give you a little bit of flowers because you did make it into playoffs. You built the greatest team on paper, but it did fall short. How did you think the season went for you, man? What happened? Where did it all fall apart?
I don't even fucking know. I think I'm just gonna take the fucking easy road here and blame the fucking Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco didn't do shit for me. If I would have had Tyrone Tracy those couple weeks, do I sneak out some wins? I don't fucking know. I don't want to go back and look.
Yeah.
Another one that just bit me in the fucking ass all year was Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, number 16 on the year, his 16th overall wide receiver, but the last 2 weeks he had over 20. This week, just 5.6 points.
It was like week 1, and then the last 2 weeks before this, he was startable. Other than that, like he legitimately probably shouldn't have even been a starter. But like, how the fuck do you sit him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I have to sit him.
So I went.
And another thing,
go ahead.
One thing I want to add. I think another thing that fucked me, dude, is I just could not figure out the quarterback position all year, and I don't think as a league we give enough credit or, I guess, praise to how important a good fucking quarterback is.
It is important. It is when you have a good quarterback start, you need to at least have 20. Otherwise, winning with a 3 is almost impossible. And that's what you had this week with Purdy. I noticed, I went back in the transactions, and you can see on the day of Thursday Night Football, you made a start
benching decision 7 different times at quarterback. You went from Purdy to Tua, Tua to Purdy. You took away fucking Patrick. You just flip flopped like 7 times. You gave me a call. I was sitting at the bar, and you gave me a call and said, "What do I do?" I'm sure you made that call to several people. What led you to going with Purdy there? Was it just to get Patrick Mahomes out of your lineup and stop letting the Chiefs fuck you, or what?
It was listening to this fucking podcast. I got in my own head. To be honest, having Patty. Okay, this is what the little voice in my head kept telling me all week. Start your fucking studs. Start your studs. It's rule number 1. Like, don't go out. Don't take an L with your fucking stud on your bench. So start Patty Mahomes. And then I listened to the podcast. And it's just like that's the dumbest decision I could make. And then I fucking text Justin, and Justin's like, I'm like, are the Chiefs gonna do anything this week or no? And he's like, nope. I'm like, fuck.
I get to real with you. All right.
I'm like, fuck. So then I call you. You don't answer. I'm like, okay, who? I'm not fucking calling Jared. I'm playing him.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want fucking anyone's take that's not in the fucking playoffs.
Well, honestly, I looking back, I do regret telling you go Purdy. It was the right call though. It just didn't.
I think so.
That game,
I think so too.
That game was miserable, dude. Matthew Stafford, like everybody fantasy wise was awful. Cooper Kupp 0. Like that game, if you had anybody in that game, you got fucking ruined, except for Kyron or Puka, and that was it. And,
dude, and you weren't even the only one. There were multiple people that told me Purdy too. Yeah. And myself, I mean, obviously, I'm the last fucking, I'm the fucking brass here. Got to set a lineup, but
so that game pretty much ruined. I mean, that was it for you. Did you pretty much check out from there, or did you feel good going into Sunday, or was that just enough to say fuck this, I'm done?
I was about 95% checked out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. A lot of people were checked out on this matchup, dude. That 3 ruined this game.
It just completely fucking killed the vibe. And there was an ounce of faith when Kamara got that fucking that passing touchdown, and I was like, I might have a chance. I went
close. Yep.
I went to look at Jared's team, and I was like, fuck. Saquon hasn't done shit, and I was like, Gibbs hasn't done shit, and then what do you know? Dave Montgomery torn ACL, Jamar Gibbs 30 points, fucking Joe Burrow touchdown, fucking T Higgins. I'm like, motherfucker, dude.
Yeah, it was it all happened in that afternoon slate, and it was just like, oh yeah, this is over. He has like one guy going on. It was JJ. You were down 50. JJ had a good game, 25, I think it was.
Dude, and, I looked at Jesse and I told her, I said, if I can somehow get to Monday by only being down 30, I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah.
And I was down 65.
All right, real quick, just to sum this up, looking back on the year, do you have any large regrets, and why is it trusting and going all in on the Chiefs? I mean, you made an effort. You made an effort to go after Chiefs, Peeler. You went after Pacheco. You went after Patrick Mahomes.
I think, like,
you went
looking
after
back at
Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was exactly what the fuck I told you. You're never going to go against him, and he was asshole.
He was fucking – looking at all the tight ends besides Brock Bowers, Travis Kelce was completely fine. Looking back at it, I had no intention of going after Chiefs. I play fantasy football based on the fucking name value, and when Mr. sent me that fucking let me take this a step back. When I sent Mr. a trade and it got rejected, and then the next morning I wake up and there's a trade in my inbox with Travis Kelce in it, plus Jamar Chase, why wouldn't I take that? And then the Patty thing, I just needed a quarterback. I traded. I don't even know what I gave up for Patty. I don't think it was much. Was it the Tracy one?
Yeah.
I think it was Tracy.
You gave up Trey McBride and Tracy for Kyle Pitts and
That's right.
Something else. Yeah, it wasn't.
My biggest regret is not getting Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
Fair. Having a good quarterback, I think going in next year, it just feels like so much fun. Like the
I will
guys that have had the top quarterbacks are 1 and 2 in this league. Josh
Exactly.
Allen, Lamar Jackson, they're 1 and 2, and they never had to worry, not one fucking time, about. I mean, they haven't always produced, but they've never had to worry, and that sounds sweet. Yeah, five
I
or six
think
years.
over.
Fi-
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
5 or 6 weeks ago, you were absolutely on top of the world. Goes to show you can't win on paper. Got to play the games. Kyle Peeler, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you making time out of your drive home for this. Congratulations on making the playoffs. Just a year ago, you were champion, or
Last
were
place
you the
loser.
loser? You were last place, right?
Yeah,
So,
but 2 years ago,
he-
I won it.
hell of an improvement from last year. You were talked about a lot this year as being good, but at the end, it was always fuck Peeler. Thank you very much, sir.
One thing.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you have the floor.
I'm fucking rooting for Jared because I want all you guys
Oh,
to
yeah.
get pissed off.
I have that
Bye.
question. Who are you rooting for the rest of the way?
Jay Riz, let's go. I want him to win 3.
Oh, that would suck. All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.